Hello everyone. My name is Lorelei Williams, and I'm from Scati Nations on my mom's side and Chehalis on my dad's side. I want to acknowledge the Coast Salish peoples for having me on their territory. I am here on behalf of the Missing and Murdered Women's Coalition. The Coalition on Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls is comprised of family members and survivors and more than 40 entities, including Indigenous nations, Indigenous organizations, frontline service organizations, feminist and women's organizations, legal advocates, faith-based groups, and provincial organizations. The Coalition initially came together in 2012 in response to the Missing Women Commission of Inquiry in BC, overseen by Commissioner Wally Opal, and has grown since. I'm on this coalition because I have a missing aunt. And my cousin was murdered by serial killer Robert Pickton. And I have so many family members who are survivors of violence. Pretty much everybody in my family. On behalf of the coalition, I would like to say, the coalition weeps for Tina Fontaine. Members of the Coalition on Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women and Girls are heartbroken and appalled that on February 22nd, 56-year-old Raymond Cormier was found not guilty in the murder of Tina Fontaine, a 15-year-old girl from Saging First Nation in Manitoba. Our hearts and prayers are with her loved ones at this time of pain and sorrow. Fontaine's murder sparked outrage and demands for a national inquiry into missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls in Canada. On September 1st, 2016, a national inquiry into MMIWG, led by Chief Commissioner Marion Buller, began its work. The inquiry is mandated to inquire into and report on the systemic causes of all forms of violence, including sexual violence against Indigenous women and girls in Canada. In the case of Tina Fontaine, the child welfare system, the police system, and the criminal justice system all failed her. Woo! Systemic racism, sexism, misogyny, and colonization are at the core of this tragedy. So far, the inquiry has held family and community hearings, gathering stories and statements that have been bravely shared by loved ones and survivors. Fontaine's story and all the stories share a common thread, the sincere wish that this never happens to another woman or girl again. What does justice mean if the same injustices carry on day after day, year after year? To work towards a systemic and societal change where Indigenous women and girls are valued, the inquiry and the federal government must do far more than hear stories and share the truth. Though those stories are foundations for change, comprehensive and in-depth hearings must be held to investigate the systems that repeatedly fail Indigenous women and girls. The police, child welfare services, schools, and healthcare services must be thoroughly cross-examined and analyzed. The inquiry has stated that these hearings will be held in parts 2 and 3 of this inquiry. Yet with a mere 9 months until the final report is due, there is no sufficient time, nor has the inquiry demonstrated that it is capable of carrying out this demanding work. The calls of no justice, no peace are sounding as Indigenous people mourn yet another failing of this country and its cruel colonial systems. There must be accountability for these injustices. Thank you.